So if you subscribe to our website, terrelartsdc.com, then you got our newsletter that went out earlier this week, and it goes out rather sporadically, but I finally have like a schedule where I think that I can have it done more consistently. I tried to like outsource it, but it's really something that I just have to sit down and do, because even outsourcing it, I still have to sit down and devote time to it. And so I just need to be able to do it and schedule it. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that, and a little bit about, I got like a lot of response, and more response than I expected, particularly about the store on the website, because I sent out the newsletter, and in it I was talking about how we just updated our site. And if you know me, you know that I get antsy with like the way everything looks, and that I'm real particular about how things look. And so, we update our website at every year at this point. Afi Ise, I think I'm saying that right, did a fabulous job on our website yet again. Excuse me. This is the second website that I've had her do for me and manage for me. And she's amazing. You guys should go to her page and hire her and have her lay out your website. Like, she does a great job. She does it in a timely manner. Really good at communication and whatnot. And so I said that, like, make sure you come back and visit the website. The website has been redone, and then we've added some things to the website, but that we have taken down the store. And it was a thing for me too when I did it, but I didn't really realize like how much of a thing, and I didn't really realize like how much of a staple that aspect has been, not just to our brand, but to like even me and my identity. Because if you've been like following me for a long time, or if you've listened to like one of the many art talks and conversations from the past year, I'm sure you've heard me tell the story about how I started doing earrings when I was in second grade. And, learning how to sew. My mom taught me how to sew. I sewed my first dress that I wore to school in second grade. She taught me how to quilt, sew, and so I've always been like a maker of things, even before I identified as an artist. And I've always been a seller of things, and selling like the earrings and the other things that I would make had always been like really strong supplemental income for me. Like I got to a point where with teaching or with any job, really, I just, I've never wanted to be someplace like obligatorily, I don't know if that's the right word, but like I have to be someplace for all day. Like that's not my thing. But so even when I was younger, I would work a job that could pay, like all I was looking for was like if my rent is paid, because I know like I can supplement everything else. Like I can hustle, and I could get groceries, I could get, if there's like miscellaneous bills here and there, I could take care of that sort of thing off selling earrings and things like that. And so I've always been vending. I've always done that. I've always had some sort of option for people to buy things. I've met a lot of y'all driving around delivering earrings and shea butters and all kind of stuff. Like I have sold things. In regards to the art merchandise, my husband and I started a merchandise line, like a full-fledged line with our brand, when it was not popular for fine artists to do so. When and at a time where to do so cut you out of a lot of the fine arts market, because it was not, that's not what fine artists do. Fine artists don't make t-shirts and things like that. But I think that for me, one, I was always thinking about that supplemental income, but two, I was just like, I don't understand how there's this like stigma with fine artists making accessible merchandise out of their art. Because when I go to the museum, in the gift shop, they've got a bunch of accessible things with the artists who are on these walls art. Like, how come the museum gets to make money off of the merchandise but the artist can't? And so, y'all know how I am. Like, I just was like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. And so, we launched our line, and over the years, we have grown from just jewelry to t-shirts, throw pillows, coffee mugs, all kinds of stuff. And the leggings, the sweatpants, and I have changed, like the ways that I've done the business. Like, we were doing drop shipping and ordering things from different places with sublimation printing. I bought all the stuff so that we could do it in home. I saved money in 2019. I told my husband, I was like, I did some research. We should just buy these machines and we can do it from home and cut the middleman out, right? I said, I'll save the money and I'll buy the equipment. And he was like, cool. So I saved the money. I bought the equipment. Y'all, we got that equipment right at the end of 2019, like maybe October of 2019. And we practiced and we learned how to do it. And I ordered all of these like blank cups and blank t-shirts and just all these blanks, right? And so when everything shut down, we was still printing because we had everything. And like, you couldn't get an order from, a Printful, from an Art of Wear, from a Redbubble, from a Zazzle, like wherever, when everything else was shut down, because we had that stuff at the house. And I had I see ahead a lot. So I had just been stockpiling. Like, every time I sold a painting, I was finding stuff by the case. So I was like, okay, I sold a painting and I would order, a case of coffee mugs. So I had 100 coffee mugs in all different colors, like 100 t-shirts, all different sizes. So when everything really closed down, it really was helpful for us because we were still able to like hustle. So we still were making money. And especially as like the burst in supporting Black business really picked up, we was making really good money off the merchandise line. But, really in 2019, my artwork itself really started to like pick up and be popping. And before that, I was selling pretty consistently, like smaller pieces or more affordable pieces. But I think that in 2018, I started pricing my stuff like at market value, for real. And like by, doing a square foot calculation, and plus the couple things, like I really started pricing at market value. And when you change your prices, and especially when you raise your prices like drastically, because I was super underselling stuff. So when you raise your prices drastically, you typically go through like a little season where you don't really have any sales, because you have to rebuild your brand, right? so people was used to paying, $800 for a painting that should have been $4,000, right? And so when you start saying, like, so when they circle back around, your repeat customers, they circle back around and they're like, oh, what you got? I'm ready to get another one. And you're like, I don't have nothing that's in that price range anymore. Like, everything at that time, everything was 1,200 and above. And so, like, there's a little shift time. So the merchandise, like, really carried us through that shift time. But in 2019, like late 2019 especially, I had built the clientele, so the work was starting to go again, and it was going at market value. It was going for what it was supposed to go for. And in all honesty, I love to paint. I absolutely love to paint. I think that, like, making t-shirts and things like that, it's never been a passion for me. It's never been something I loved. It was always a means to make money, and that's exactly how I felt about it. I do have a love for making earrings, but it goes in spurts. Like, every now and again, I just want to make a bunch of earrings. Like, I'm actually thinking about making some earrings now because I could run the Cricut while I'm doing something else, but like, I'll probably never do beadwork again for like earrings. Like, I'm into like printable things. So, like, I have this moment where, like, I don't have to sell t-shirts no more. And I think that we did a scale down of the store. And so we were only doing leggings, we had sweatsuits, we had scarves, we had a couple things. And so this past season, man, I sat and I made all the textiles because we had distanced from putting the art itself on things and into like putting just general textiles on things. And so I sat down and I made all the textiles, and then I laid out all the mock-ups. I ordered the tests. I wore them. I took pictures. I put them on the site. And people will order, but I just, like, all that time that I'm sitting placing all these orders is time that I could be painting or spending with my family. And I tried to outsource this too. I was like, okay, cool. I have an assistant now. Like, I'll tell her to every Monday, place the orders. But again, like, what I'm learning about outsourcing is, while in the long term it opens up time, it really doesn't, because you have to like sit down and structure what the person who's doing whatever you're outsourcing is, the need is. And you have to invest time in like engaging them in what the need is and staying on the same page with them in terms of what the need is. And then, because you have somebody you gotta pay, you have to like make sure that you're investing time back into the business to make sure that you're covering that, like, it, so it ends up being, it's fulfilling, but it's still a lot. Anyway, all that to say, I tried to outsource it, and I was just like, I'm gonna have her place the orders every Monday. Everything gets placed, right? And that works. But the problem is that when people email to ask questions or to complain about like absolutely ridiculous things, you know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about like genuine, oh, something's wrong with my print, or you know what I'm saying? Something like that. That's we need to fix or whatever. I'm talking about ludicrous things. And those calls or those texts, they come all hours. So not just the time where I have the assistant manning the phone, but they come like folks, I don't know if it's like y'all people be having some drinks and then at 3 o'clock in the morning start like rage messaging folks, like craziness, and all those come directly to me at that time. And even when I'm like, here, can you respond to these, a lot of times people will be like really rude. And I understand that sometimes, people are frustrated, but like over like very minimal things. And so a few months ago, I had a lady come and I'm not even going to say what she bought. She bought something off the site. I will say that what she bought was under $100. So I'm not talking about, no, she didn't come drop like 10 stacks and, is in an uproar. I'm talking about under $70. Okay, so not a gang of money, right? And when she ordered, she commented under one of my posts and then she sent me a message. And I was like, oh, and so I responded to both immediately, right? And so Monday comes and my assistant hits me up and she's like, hey, this person's address is in another country. And she was like, I'm having problems putting she didn't know how to put the international information in, right? And so, I showed her how to put the international information in, and in doing so, the shipping to that country doesn't provide tracking and it has to go through customs. And it was like it could take up to 30 days. So we placed this as order and I email her and I'm like, hey, I just want to let you know your order has been placed. It has to go through, you're out of the country, so it has to go through customs, and that could take up to 30 days. And it's 3 to 5 days for them to make it. So you're looking at, 5 business days from now. From that point, it could take up to 30 days from there to go through customs. She was like, oh, okay, I understand. So, some time passes, then she sends me a message and she's like, hey, I still haven't gotten my merchandise. And I was like, yes, your order was placed. And I sent her a picture of like the orders placed with the date. Your order was placed on this date. Remember, I sent you a message. And it takes 3 to 5 business days for them to make the merchandise and they ship out. And so here is, I sent her a screenshot of the your item has been shipped. And it doesn't, and why there's no tracking number that's associated with it because of where it's shipping to. And please don't get in arguments in the comments because I'm trying to keep it general enough that I'm not trying to air her out. I'm trying to keep it real general. And so I'm giving you some real general information. I'm not going to tell you exactly what country and all of that. Yes, all countries don't do that, but some countries do. And I'm not going to get into which one because I'm not trying to air her out. But, anyway, so she sends me several more emails over the next couple of days. And y'all, I respond to every single one of her emails personally. I told my assistant, if there's a message from this person, make sure that it comes through to, just send it to me, forward it to me so that I can respond because, I understand this person's they're waiting for something. So then she tries to do a PayPal dispute. So I sent the information to PayPal and y'all know how PayPal is and y'all know how I feel about PayPal. But PayPal was no, she has fulfilled everything. It's coming. You got to wait. You haven't waited out the time that it might take. It hasn't been more than 30 days yet. And then, so they, denied the dispute and quickly denied the dispute. So then she starts sending me these mean, oh, I want my money back, this, that, and the other. And I was like, okay, I ordered the merchandise. I told you that it's sent. Once you get it, kindly return it. And when it gets back to us, I will refund you your money. Not a problem. But I was and then all these crazy messages. And then all of a sudden, no messages. So I guess, you must have got your merchandise. I told you, you would get your merchandise. And not, And y'all, this is the thing. It's not like it took like 6 months. You know what I'm saying? It took 30 days for it to clear customs. And she got it in the next couple days after the 30 days. It was really that simple. But the whole situation just was very draining for me. And that's not the only time that things like that happen. You know, like I have a client who's also a friend who bought some things from me in 2020 that I have shipped twice, that have gotten like just lost in the wind of the post office. And you know, while I don't like to do refunds, like I usually will try to replace your merchandise. I already replaced it, so I've already eaten the cost of them and the shipping of them. But you know, like I just am not in the mood to make cups right now. Like, and you know, and I felt bad. I told her that, and I refunded her, because I told her, I was like, I'm just not in the mood to make no cups. Like, I could really do it. I just don't. Like, I literally have all the stuff sitting in my studio. I just don't want to. Because I have, like, so many amazing ideas for things that I want to paint and things that I want to create. And the ways that I can involve all of these different disciplines and all of these different things that I do, like, I want to think about sublimation printing beyond a cup. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if I do a cup, I want the cup to be like something else entirely. It's not something that, you know, you drinking your coffee out of, but like, I'm just on something else right now. And I don't want to invest the time and the energy. I really want to. I'm painting a series right now that is so fire, y'all. And conceptually, it's just so fire. And I really, you know, I have this time in this studio, and I have like this, I have this opportunity to really create something amazing, and I want to utilize as much of that time as possible. And within that, you know, like I don't got time to be making cups and t-shirts and stuff. And so I don't know if this year if we're gonna have like merchandise, if I'm gonna put the store back up for the holiday. I do have some items that I plan to sell, but they're not going to be like cups and t-shirts and things like that. I have something really fire coming down the line, and it's going to be $500, and it's going to be the hottest $500 you spend in your life. Like, so gather your coins. And I know that you're down to gather your coins if you got all the way to this point in this video. But that's why the store is not up anymore. And I'm sure that there'll be like a different iteration of the store, but I don't know if at this point in my life, at this point in my career, I'm going to be returning to like offering those type of items. And I will have some items I offer, but they're just going to be like on such a different, like y'all are going to see, it's going to be on such a different wavelength in terms of like what it is, what I'm working on. So that's why the store, it's not like, you know, we're okay. I know a lot of people express concern, and I know a lot of people were like sad because they really wanted things. But you know, with me, when I'm doing stuff, you gotta be on top of it, because I be quick. I change like a season, and I have to always remind myself to stay in the power of now, because I'm always thinking about, I'm thinking about 3 to 5 years from now already. And so in terms of just like, I'm thinking even longer than that, but in terms of like merchandising and things like that. So I appreciate the reach outs and the, you know, I definitely do. But come on this new journey with us, and we're going to do some different things and try some different things.